This video demonstrates how to find the changes that have been made within an IE framework. For demonstration purposes, this is a version of the library's IE framework. Whether you are in the desktop version of Excel or the Microsoft 365 online version of Excel, under your Review tab, you have an option in a shared workbook called Show Changes. This is a feature that we're going to use extensively in order to find changes that have been made to the framework. This is unique to Excel shared workbooks, and it works very differently than track changes in Word, as in our past document. For example, let's say I want to change the verbiage in this objective. Instead of saying to provide services that support DIU's missions and mission and goals, perhaps I want a more people-facing focus. And so I'm going to say students, staff, faculty, and community. Now, I'm going to make that change. I've pressed enter and made that change, and you can see the change is showing here, but it's just showing as if I typed that in originally. It's not tracked like we're used to in Word. That's okay. We'll still be able to find that change in just a moment. Let me make a couple more updates. Standard, for example, is misspelled here, so let's go and get that right. I've changed standard. It's now spelled correctly, but again, it's not a different font. It's not underlined. There's no strike through. And down here, qualified is misspelled. So I don't want to misspell qualified. So I'm going to go and update that so it's spelled correctly. All right, I've made 3 changes now in my Excel sheet. I'm going to click on this Show Changes button, and a panel will appear at the right, and it has the 3 changes. It says that I made the change, Brenda Flowers made the change, and it has the cell numbers. So for example, on this one where we updated the verbiage to students, staff, faculty, it says C6 right here, C6. And if I look C and then row 6, C6 is where I made that change. When I click on this comment card, the system puts this little green outline rectangle around that cell. And so it automatically moves my cursor to the cell that I'm looking at. Let's say that my boss reads that, says, Brenda, I think it's great you want a people focus, but really that objective needs to say mission and goals. My supervisor can just, or I can just click on the original verbiage, right click, copy, and then come back over here and paste and update to the original verbiage that way. Now, the show changes is actually going to show the history of changes across the document. So it can get very, very full over here in your change panel. In order to focus in on just a few changes, you can use this filter button and tell the system a range of changes that you want to see. So I selected the drop down range, and then my cursor has to be in this box, and then I'll go highlight. Let's say I just want changes made right here on this row. It filled in the cell numbers for me. That's what that is. And then I'm going to click on the arrow, and it just showed me changes that were made on C6 or D6. There's C6, D6, and then when I set the verbiage back to the original verbiage right here. Those are the 3 changes I've made here. Keep in mind that you have likely already set all your thresholds and targets before you work on really heavily updating your goal verbiage and strategy verbiage. And so all of those thresholds and targets are also going to appear over here in changes. So this filter button is going to be very beneficial for you. We realize this works very differently than it did in Word. And so if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. We would be happy to come and sit down with you and work through this. One suggestion, if you have something that is very lengthy, let's say this set of strategies, because it's very lengthy and I want to completely rework it, but I don't know if my supervisor is going to go for that or not. Rather than make all the changes, one thing you could do is either insert a note. I'm still on the review chain. I'm going to go here to notes and add a new note. And I'm going to just make a note to self. So this is literally a sticky note for me. Remember to ask Scott if I can update these strategies to the new ones. I'm going to click off of that, and there's a little red triangle right here in the top corner. That means I have a note, and when I click in the box and hover over that triangle, my note will appear. That is just a note to self, just like the sticky notes that I have all over my desk. If I want to reach out electronically and ask my supervisor a question, then I can use a comment. A note is a note to self. A comment, I can actually talk back and forth and tag that person. And so I want to insert a new comment, and I'm just going to tag me because this actually does send an email to the person. Once you do this, if you start with that @ sign and then pick the person, that means an email is going. I want to completely rework. I want to completely rework this objective and strategies. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. And that's going to send that email to whoever you tagged with the @ symbol. And it also is going to have this purple triangle up here in the corner. And if you hover over the triangle, then you can see the comment. You can delete the thread if you decide, I didn't really want to ask that. You can resolve the thread once I've talked to myself and decided that change is okay. Or whoever you tagged. Once y'all have that conversation, the supervisor can resolve the thread and make it go away. So those features are also available, and there is a more extensive video on how to use notes and comments in the IE website page. If you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.